See you there. Today we're going to discuss human trafficking. Human trafficking has many faces. It extends beyond kidnapping and selling people. It affects on every continent at all socioeconomic levels. Homeland Security defines human trafficking as the involvement of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor of commercial sex acts. The International Labor Organization estimates that there are 40.3 million victims of human trafficking, in which the industry generates $150 billion worldwide. Human trafficking is a complex issue that can affect everyone in its path. Traffickers can work in any setting and in any service industry. They wear the mask of social normalcy to prey upon the vulnerable for profit. In order to further understand the complexity of human trafficking, it's important to comprehend the nature of the problem. The three most common forms of trafficking are forced labor, sex trafficking, and debt bondage. According to the U.S. Department of State, forced labor is the biggest sector of sex trafficking in the world. Human trafficking is a complex issue that can affect everyone in its path. Traffickers can work in any setting and in any service industry. They wear the mask of social normalcy to prey upon the vulnerable for profit. In order to further understand the complexity of human trafficking, it's important to comprehend the nature of the problem. The three most common forms of trafficking are forced labor, sex trafficking, and debt bondage. According to the U.S. Department of State, forced labor is the biggest sector of sex trafficking in the world. Misconceptions about human trafficking and beliefs on how we can prevent it start with identifying and dealing with its causes. With the proper dissemination from the media, local government and non-governmental organizations, law enforcement, and the private sector can band together to combat and protect their community citizens from human trafficking. Different cultures, economics, and religions attest to the difficulty of implementing laws, while cultural interpretations and opposing justice systems make those laws even more problematic to enforce. Insights from my disciplines of media strategies and organizational leadership could potentially be beneficial to shift the focus from the global scale to local communities to enlighten citizens on the realities of human trafficking in order to develop a comprehensive understanding of these issues. The use of internet and digital networks gives users the ability to connect and communicate instantly with individuals they might not even know. The number of Americans who use social networking has doubled since 2008, with the majority of users on Facebook. While social media and technology provides great benefits, there's also a darker side to the internet. These sites can link traffickers to potential victims in real time to market, recruit, sell, and exploit. Human trafficking is recognized by international protocols and laws. Because of this, violators are forced to conduct their illegal activities underground. Online transactions leave behind traces of user activity, providing a window into the scope of criminal activity and the patterns used by violators and victims. A collaboration across local sectors and government organizations is needed to promote prevention plans. However, funding for collaborations on a nationwide scale to counter trafficking is nearly non-existent in the United States. The way issues are covered in the media affects how the public thinks. This is known as the agenda-setting theory. The media fails to communicate the severity and complexity of trafficking. The coverage tends to be scattered and lacks focus of solutions. Therefore, when the media fails to adequately cover an issue, such as human trafficking, it's less likely the public will form an opinion over this issue. Effective leaders must employ appropriate communication to disseminate goals based on the values, assumptions, beliefs, and expectations to those with whom we communicate. Technology used in anti-trafficking organizations must be tailored carefully to avoid infringing upon fundamental rights such as privacy, security, and freedom of expressions. Collaborating communication requires a universal language to seek change. Influence of social media and technology leads to disconnections between humanity as a global community. I believe that art is a universal language that speaks to all of humanity in order to evoke emotions, ideas, and thoughts. Art doesn't show us what to do or how to think, yet all art has a message to convey. Art at its core is communication for social change. Amplifying messages on the issue of human trafficking to leverage resources is no easy task. Street Art for Mankind uses art to campaign against human trafficking and convey their message. Their most recent project included a series of graffiti murals by international artists on New York City buildings that represent allegorical experiences of the victims of this modern slavery across the world. Their mission is targeted at local communities of New York to put the subject of human trafficking at the forefront of the public and to inspire a realization that human trafficking is everywhere, even in their own boroughs. As we talked about, it's necessary to harness technology's potential to interfere with criminal activities to combat trafficking. and cooperation by professionals in the media is key to investigate and expose traffickers. To produce a testable interdisciplinary understanding surrounding human trafficking, partnerships that collaborate across local platforms by means of the power of art to raise awareness and disseminate information to the public is necessary. Organizations should be in place in communities and specifically tailored around art to transform public perceptions and knowledge. Local activists, sponsors, and NGOs can campaign for change and fundraising and community-based exhibitions featuring local artists whose works are centered around the voices of trafficking to inspire and educate the public while stimulating fundraising and outreach through social media and the press. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Be careful of your surroundings, and as a whole, we can one day put an end to human trafficking.